Hi, I'm Donna Wittry.
Hi, I'm John Wittry. Took me by surprise. I was waiting for the countdown. Sorry about that. Good to be with you here again in our living room. We're so happy to have you back. This is the third recording that we've made. So the first one was titled Choosing In. So it's really about you choosing into your relationship and choosing in, and then again tomorrow choosing in, and then the day after that choosing back in. And the second one, which we just recorded, was all about understanding some primary needs, his needs and her needs. So the basic need for men being honor, and the basic need for a woman being security. What would you like to talk about during this recording, love?
This one is called Serving Each Other. And our first point is to serve your spouse like you would a customer or a client.
Yeah, it's funny. So I think to a large degree we are all in a customer service role. So it almost doesn't matter what you do as a profession. You are paid to serve somebody. And one of the things that Donna and I have noticed in working with marriages over the years is how we don't take some of the same learning around good customer service and apply it to our spouses. And we have a tendency to really take our spouses for granted and forget that they are actually our primary customer. They are our primary client. Seems like a weird word to say, hi, you're my customer and you're my client. So I don't mean it that way, but I want to take my heart of service, which I really have, and I want to make sure that I'm 120% in my service to Donna. I want her to really feel like she is my first and my foremost customer, and she is experiencing being served by me.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, it's not like it's a hugely easy thing to do. You know, everybody goes to their jobs and we get tired, and you know, you're stressed and there's other things going on in life, you know, besides your jobs. But really, just to keep that in mind, in the forefront of your mind, is that you want to treat your spouse really well. You want to treat them well. You want to be as loving as you can with that person that you chose to spend your life with.
Yeah, it's funny, and it really ties into remembering the last recording and remembering each other's needs. And you know, I think when I think of our last 30 years, one of the biggest transitions that we've made, and one of the things that has made the biggest difference in our relationship for me personally, I'll let Donna speak to it as well, is figuring out what service looks like to Donna. You know, Donna has some, like, not just Donna, everybody has idiosyncrasies, and everybody has pet peeves, and everybody has things they like and don't like. And so one of the things that I've gotten better and better at over the years is paying attention to what she really likes and paying attention to what she really doesn't like, and then serving her in the area of doing what she really likes. And just a really simple example is she really loves a clean kitchen. And a clean kitchen for her and a clean kitchen for me are two really different things. Like, a clean kitchen is okay with me with a couple of glasses sitting around and maybe a plate and a fork sitting on the counter and things like that. But that's not Donna's definition of a clean kitchen. And so this sounds like a really small thing, but one of the ways that I consistently try to serve you is when I take a drink of water out of a glass. Look, for me, putting the glass on the side of the sink, knowing I'm going to take another drink of water in a little while, is the most normal thing in the world. But that's not serving Donna. Serving Donna is not caring what I want and taking that glass and either rinsing it and putting it in the drying rack, or if it's dirty, putting it in the dishwasher, or better yet, just wash it and put it back where it was. How long did that take me? That took me 15 seconds of extra time. How much time did that save me trying to dig myself out of a hole with Donna? Hours, days, weeks, sometimes. So I'm looking for ways to serve you by recognizing what you like and doing that, and recognizing what you don't like and stop doing that.
Yeah, I mean, it takes recognition. It takes what we understand at this point in our life is studying your spouse. It takes studying the things that are important to them, finding out what they are, and just trying to concentrate on those things.
Yeah, so that takes us into, so this is top 10 big ideas around serving one another. That was top 10, or top first one. Second one is seeing serving your partner as an opportunity to actually love your spouse. You know, we are pretty good at saying I love you, articulating the words of I love you. And so that's a form of demonstrating love, and it's an important form, and none of us should neglect that. But I will tell you that actually serving Donna is a more effective way of saying I love you. I actually don't have to use words at all. I can actually just do acts of kindness and serve her. I'll tell you, though, for me, where the challenge lies is serving Donna means laying down my will. Serving Donna means not always doing what I want to do, but doing what Donna wants to do. So a starting point in saying I love you is actually laying down my life. Now that sounds really dramatic, but laying my life down by putting the glass away, laying my life down by picking up my clothes off of the floor, laying my life down by eating salad in support of what Donna's trying to do from a diet standpoint, instead of demanding a burger. Who cares what you want from a diet standpoint? So I don't know what your perspective is on that.
It's just, you know, the question that I like to ask myself is, what can I do today that's going to be really helpful for my spouse? And so if I see that, like right now, I'm in the teaching system, so right now I'm off for the summer. So I have time to make lunch. And so if I see that John has, you know, back-to-back meetings and he runs up and gets a handful of almonds for lunch, I'm like, no. So what I do is I try and say to myself, what can I do today that's going to be helpful for him? So I just say, well, why don't I just make him a salad, because I'm going to make myself one anyway, take it down to his office, and that way while he's, you know, in the middle of all his meetings, he can just eat a salad. So it's just a little question. What can I do to help my spouse today?
And interestingly enough, as I listen to Donna articulating that thing, which is I love, right? I mean, who wouldn't love having their lunch delivered to them to their office? I absolutely love it. But she could say I love you a bazillion times, and I wouldn't experience it in the same way as her bringing lunch to me once. And so random acts of kindness, really random acts of service to one another. So then the next one is learning to be a giver, not a getter. So again, this is, look, none of these concepts are necessarily easy, but they are really, really good disciplines. And many times we have a tendency to give service or give in order to get something. So I want to move the glass off of the counter onto the drying rack so that Donna will respond in some way. So that has me in getting mode. What can I get out of this, and what do I need to do to get what I want? And it's not that I don't do that. I do that. I try not to do that. Try to be really conscious that when I'm giving, when I'm serving, I'm doing it because I love my spouse. I'm doing it from a heart of service, and whatever her reaction is her reaction.
Yeah, because obviously I may not even notice.
Right.
You know, I may not say, oh, thanks, honey, because you moved the glass, you know, out of the sink into the drying rack. I may be doing what I'm doing and not say anything about it for days. And so really it's just a practice of, you know, if you're going to do service for your spouse, are you really going to expect in return to get a thank you for every single thing that that person is doing for you? And so, no, it's a practice within our own hearts to say, I'm just going to give. I'm just going to give because I love my spouse and, you know, I'm going to be helpful to them today.
Yeah, and it's such an important concept in every area of our life we're giving, you know, where we give money or where we give time or where we do any of that. When you're really just sowing and when you're just giving, to do it from a clean heart, you know, the comment that Donna has written down here, it's better to give than receive. And we've heard that so many times. And it's the truth. It is a core truth that it is better to give than receive. And motive is a really interesting thing. So in your relationships that you're in, one of the questions that I would have of you is, what motive is behind your service? And really slow down a little bit in all of your serving of your spouse, in all of your serving of your partner. What's your motive behind that? Is your motive to actually elicit some response? Well, then you're going to be probably disappointed because your partner's not always going to respond that way. So really and I'll give you this as a homework assignment. One of the homework assignments is in your serving of people, start looking at your motive. Start getting really conscious about your motive.
Yeah, and it's, really for us to be givers instead of getters is, it's helpful for us. It's a growing thing for our own selves. I mean, I think it kind of segues into our next one, which is go beyond yourself. I mean, it just takes you out of your own selfishness to just look at your motives, what they are, and say to yourself, sometimes it's kind of ugly to look at yourself and realize that you may be doing things for your spouse just to get something in return, or doing things for your kids just to elicit a response. And so, I question myself in that, and I just say, I don't really want to I don't want to serve like that. I just really don't want to be that person who's so completely self-absorbed. I don't want to be a toddler. A toddler goes around, and the first thing they're thinking about is themselves. The first word they say practically is I, or me, or my, or they say all that. And so, I don't want to live at that elementary level in my life. I want to get to a place of maturity in myself where I can serve and not really expect anything in return, but just serve because I want to be a big person. I want to be mature. I want to be an adult.
Yeah, tied in there as well is the distinction between serving versus pleasing. So what is tricky in this world of serving is how often we do things to please our spouse, or please our partner, or please another person. And it's a little bit slippery because pleasing them can oftentimes be hiding something. You're pleasing something to appease them, or you're pleasing because you feel guilty, or again, it kind of speaks to the motive thing that I was talking about earlier. So one of the things that I like about serving is I'm coming from a central place of demonstrating love. There isn't anything else behind that. There's nothing else that I'm working around. And so I've used the distinction of serving versus pleasing to help me know pleasing. Okay, pleasing. Why am I trying to please you? What am I trying to get out of this by pleasing you, or making you happy, or getting a response from you, a smile? And this is I like to give you examples so you can just apply it to your own lives. Donna and I are very different. I'm an early bird. So when I get up in the morning, I'm awake, and I'm that irritating guy. Hi, how are you? How'd you sleep? And Donna's just not. And so when she comes down from our bedroom, and she's sleepy and she hasn't had her coffee yet, and I've been up for 2 hours and I've got all this energy, I used to try to do things to please her because I wanted her to come down the stairs and smile at me and be all happy that I did something to please her. But that's not serving. Like, serving would, when I hear her coming down the stairs, is to get up out of my chair, get her coffee, put the cream in it, set it on the table, and stand back. Like, step away. Let the poor woman wake up a little bit. That would be service. As opposed to doing the dishes really fast so that when she came down the stairs, she would notice that I did the dishes and she would smile at me and be all happy and excited. That would be pleasing. It's just two really, really different results.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Okay.
So, you're going to do the next one?
Our next one is to take it out of a 50-50 proposition. So a lot of times we are tempted in our marriages and in our relationships to keep score. So, if your spouse did something, then, you should do something in return. And it kind of gets into this little bit of, the college roommate situation where you have a list on the refrigerator. Oh, yeah, these are your chores, these are my chores. And, to try and make it fair and to try and make it even. And, to try and have the score be good all the time. And what we've found in a marriage is that when you're serving somebody and you're really doing it out of a true, honest motive, you're not going to keep score in your head anymore. You're going to lose track of who's doing what for whom and how often you did what for whom, and you're just going to put it in a motiveless way and just go ahead and serve the person, no matter if you feel like you've been the one doing everything for a long time. It kind of goes back to what we were saying before, and that is that there's just going to be different times in your life where your needs may not be first in the marriage. Your spouse may have the most needs at that time, and they're going to need probably for you to serve them in a greater capacity and in a real honest capacity during that period of time.
Sometimes sitting here thinking about some of the coaching experiences we have, and a recent one comes to mind. sometimes the clients that we coach in the area of relationship don't like us much. Well, they don't like me much. They love Donna. But one of the challenges they brought to us was exactly this list, this roommate thing. So help us divvy up the duties, which what they're really saying is help us live a 50-50 life, right? And so I just let them go for a little while. Okay, so what's on your list? We'll do the dishes, take out the garbage, all the normal stuff that's on there. And so I said, well, can I see that list? Yeah, and so they both had their lists. So they both had lists, so I took them both. And I looked at them both, and I could just feel they're waiting for this divine wisdom on how we're going to make this fair. And I took the 2 pieces of paper, and I looked at the husband, and I said, do it all. Just do it all. You do it.
Yeah.
And you know, that's, yeah.
The look on their face was like...
That was different. But here's, and I was actually really serious. I am still really serious, and I'm working with him on doing it all. Why? Is I want him to lead. I actually just really want, he needs to learn how to lead, period, but he needs to learn how to lead in his family, and I want him to lead in the area of service. And to take it out of the 50-50, the only way I know how to take it out of the 50-50 is make it 100-100. And so I got to start someplace in 100-100. And so I chose, and it didn't matter. I could have done the same thing to the wife, but I chose the husband. And I just said, do it all, 100%. I want you to do this 100%. I want you to experience for a period of time doing it all. And serving your wife from a place of just doing it all and not making it fair. And there's a lot of learning there. Now, what will be the end result? I don't know. We're not there yet. But what I've seen in past instances where I've done that is there is a profound appreciation for the person that doesn't have to do it all. And they quickly step in from a place of want to help as opposed to have to help. And that's the point. If one of you will do it all from a place of service, I can almost guarantee you won't become a doormat. Because over time, the other person will see you doing it all, and if they see you doing it all with a good attitude, they won't actually be able to sit on the couch. They will get up, and they will help you. Now, if they won't, over a really long period of time, there's something else behind that we would have to uncover. But I would like to encourage you, listening to this tape and watching us, is like, try doing it all for a while. If you're fighting about 50-50, I would serve. If I was you, I would sow service. I'd start with service.
Yeah.
I just won some friends and enemies, didn't I?
It just segues into our other one that, serving for any of us is just not, it's not a natural attribute that any of us possess. It's something that we have practiced and practiced and practiced. I mean, being married is, to me, it's like one lifelong practice session because there's no manual. Nobody knows how to do it. There's no right or wrong. Every couple is individual, but we all need the practice, and we're all selfish. Yeah. All of us are born selfish. We're very good at taking care of ourselves. It's probably something, within the hierarchy of genetics that makes us very, good at taking care of ourselves, and that serves us for a while. But then when we get married, we really have to learn how to be unselfish. And then when you have children, you have to doubly learn how to be unselfish because, children's needs come first. I mean, a baby you can't just say to a baby, oh, I need 30 minutes. I got to have my cup of coffee in the morning before I come and take care of you. No. A baby just is crying and their needs come first. And so you learn over time, that it all takes practice. All of the serving in your relationship takes practice. With children, it takes practice. And so we just are encouraging you that none of us know how to do it. We're not born unselfish. We're just all of us practicing how to do this. Yeah,
over and over again. And the nice thing is that the more you practice, and again, Donna and I's relationship, I think, is an example of this. The more you practice, the more it becomes a habit. There are so many things that I've practiced in the last 30 years that when I started seemed outrageous. Like doing it all would be an example of that. In the beginning, when I got a hold of this concept, and it was actually when our marriage was falling apart, after about 2 years, our marriage was in really big trouble. And one of the commitments that I made to get out of that trouble was doing it all. I'm gonna lay it all down, and there's some other concepts I could go into that I won't for the sake of time. But that was hard, and over the course of 1 year, 6 months and 1 year and 18 months and 2 years, the more I practiced that, it just became a habit. And I'll be honest now, while I certainly don't do it all by any stretch of the imagination, I do a lot, and it's mostly unconscious. Just because I practice so much, I've become a unconscious competent at serving my wife. And it just is practice. There's nothing special about me.
Yeah.
There's nothing special about our marriage. You know, people look at Donna and I say, "Oh, you got lucky, and you just found the right person." No, man.
There's no luck.
There's no luck.
It's not luck.
We're as opposite as you can get. I mean, you see some of that come out in these videos. What we are committed to is practicing this thing called relationship.
So our next one is to try and use gratefulness as a way to motivate you to serve your spouse. So whenever I get in my own little head and I get in my own little, victim mentality where I say to myself, oh my gosh, I just don't feel like doing anything for my spouse today. What I can do to motivate myself is I can often just make a running list in my mind of all the things that he does really well, all the things that I never have to, there's some things I never have to ask him to do, and just the fact that he's been a loving partner to me and with our children and, for all of these 30 years, he's been faithful.
I put the toilet seat down.
He's always provided. He's a great catch. And so if I can just remind myself, I'm not divorced, I'm not out there looking, and just go down the list in my mind of all the things that I'm grateful for this man that I'm married to, that often will motivate me to just go ahead and serve.
Yeah, and I'm handling a prop here, one of the extra credit homework assignments that you can do. So hopefully you can see this on the video. It's a magnifying glass. And so a lot of times what we'll do is we'll give our clients magnifying glasses. And what Donna's talking about in terms of gratefulness is it is really easy to put the magnifying glass on all the things that's wrong with your spouse. It is the easiest thing in the world, and it's a prevalent game. And simply put, what happens when you put a magnifying glass on anything? So you're probably seeing it as you look through the video, is my shirt looks bigger or the plants behind me look bigger. So when you put everything under the magnifying glass that's wrong about your spouse, they all seem bigger. So move the magnifying glass, right? So there is stuff wrong. There's stuff wrong with me. She says I'm a great catch. I question that. There's some things that I'm a goofball about. But what she is really practiced at is having the magnifying glass on all the things that I'm really great at. And there's some things that I am really great at. She just has made a decision to only keep the magnifying glass there.
It's choosing.
Yeah.
It's choosing to discipline your mind to think about the things that you're really grateful about. And again, that's just an area of practice for me. There's been many times where I have to just stop myself in the middle of a thought and just say, hold it. I'm not going to go down this negative train of thought anymore. I've got to shift this way of thinking and start, I just catch it right in the middle so that it doesn't just turn into this resentment that builds in my heart. Because I know that's not going to be healthy for a relationship. It's certainly not going to be healthy for me as a person. And so it's just a discipline of your mind, to just start reciting all the things that you're thankful about with your spouse.
Yeah, which moves us into number 9 on the list of 10 today. Have you ever gotten or given a gift to someone, and you were all excited about the gift? I mean, you just thought it was the greatest gift in the world, and you'd spent all kinds of time and mental energy about giving this gift. And when you gave the gift and they opened it, it didn't land the way you thought it would. Like, there wasn't excitement around it, and they didn't put it up on the mantle, and they were just like, oh yeah, well, thank you. What's next? Kind of off to the next thing. Most of us, if not all of us, have had that experience at some level. How are you doing that with your partner? So what if you remembered that your partner was a gift from God, or whatever you define as a higher being? What if you remembered that that person that you're with is actually a gift that was given to you? And if you made a commitment to cherish that gift and to polish it and to put it in a prominent place and give it special treatment, what if we really accepted that our partner is truly a gift to us? And this is, so this is the opinion of John Wittry. I think Donna agrees with this. So it's not the truth. Don't want to pretend that it's the truth. But, if you think about a cog, in the gaps in a cog. So I'm one of those cogs. Well, I've got all these gaps. And I look at Donna as the gift that God gave me, my opposite, to fill in those gaps. Well, believe me, I resisted that thought process for the first 5 or so years of our marriage. I just tried to change Donna for her to have the exact same notches that I did. I wanted her to go to parties the way I did and show up the way I did. I wanted her to handle money the way I did. I just wanted to recreate me and her. And that was me trying to exchange the gift. This gift isn't quite right. Let me fix it. Let me make it look like something else. And after about 5 or 7 years, and I could tell you what the transition was, and it was coaches in our life helping us see this is what it was, is I started to realize, wow, God gave me this gift to perfectly match the gaps. So now once I acknowledge that, once I really get that Donna's a gift to me, I want to serve that gift. I just want to serve that gift. I want to make sure that I'm constantly paying attention and putting that gift in a prime spot. Oh, aren't you happy? The last one, number 10.
Okay. So it goes along the lines of what we're trying to encourage people to do, and that is, if you want to take it, service out of a place of where you feel resentful about it, or you feel like, you want to take it out of the place of work, we're just asking you to make it a challenge and make it a game.
Yeah.
We did this little game for a while that was an encouragement from someone else that we heard, and we said, how about if we try for a week's period of time to see who can do the most serving for the other person? And so we're like, okay, we're each just enough competitive that we said, ooh, let's see if we can do this. Let's just see if we can challenge ourselves to do this. And so that was kind of a fun way to look at it for a while when we were first practicing how to transition to start looking at it from being resentful about serving the other person to really looking at it like, oh my gosh, this could be really fun if I just try and challenge myself to see how many different ways I can serve my spouse.
Yeah, and the whole gamify this thing called relationship, gamify this thing called marriage, make it fun. The world likes to talk about how bad it is and how much work it is. What Don is talking about is absolutely true. How do you make service a game? And if you won't do that, if you're having trouble doing that, let me put it this way. Look at the stories that you're making up about why you can't serve your spouse or serve your partner. Just look at the stories and remember that they're stories. You made them up. They're not the truth. Everything is possible. All things are possible. If you will create a story that supports the possibility, you'll have a much more fun time doing it, and it'll actually come to fruition. So, making this thing a game, and I think, as it relates to the homework, and you're getting used to us now, so this is, the third or fourth video where we're giving you homework. Here's your homework. So something to grab a pen and a paper and write down is where for the next 30 days, let's make it reasonable. Where for the next 30 days can you just serve your spouse 100%? Make a list of all the things for the next 30 days. What would your spouse really see or your partner really see as service? And do it. Just go do it all. And do it just from a place of, I might still say I love you, but I'm going to demonstrate I love you through service, and I'm just going to serve. And I might even, like if it's just you watching this video and it's not both of you watching this video, don't tell your partner you're doing it. So let's extend the game. Let's extend the game a little bit. And if it's just you watching these videos, don't tell the other person you're doing it. Just play the game. Now, if it's both of you, you can get a little competitive, like sometimes Don and I like to do, but just serve one another. Forget the 50-50 list. Just rip it up and just go do it all. Just go do it all. Watch the stories that you're telling yourself that would keep you from taking this homework assignment.
Yeah, which is usually a fairness issue.
Well, fairness.
Trying to make it fair.
Yeah, it's not fair. I don't have time. Oh, John and Donna, you don't understand. You don't know my spouse, you don't know my partner, blah, blah, blah. You got to imagine, we've been coaching people for 25 years. We've heard a lot of the stories. And it's not that they don't feel real to you. It's just that they're not real. You're making them real by telling them over and over. Tell yourself an empowering story about how you're going to serve 100% your spouse going forward.
Yeah, or just ask the question, if serving seems like sort of a nebulous way to look at it, just ask yourself the question, what can I do for my spouse today that's going to be really helpful for them?
Second part of the homework, okay, let's call this extra credit, is look at where you have the magnifying glass on everything that's wrong or negative or bad about your partner and move it. And make a commitment for the next 30 days to only have the magnifying glass on what's wholesome, what's beautiful, what's wonderful, what's working, how wonderful that person is that you're with. And really acknowledge that that person is a gift from God. Keep the magnifying glass on all the gifts from God that that person is in your life. So you got some homework, you got some extra credit. We look forward to seeing you at the next video.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks. See you next time.